Folks, we have a very special guest for you tonight.
Hello, we've been expecting you.
This is not a test. Your government and corporate overlords have implemented new measures for your own health and safety. We are just following orders.
Everything is going to be fine.
I'd like to introduce...
Welcome to another If by Whiskey, everybody. We have our friend Christopher down here, and we're going to introduce him in a minute. Before we continue, we unfortunately have some sad news. Christopher and I are in a fraternity, Theta Xi. We unfortunately lost another fraternity brother on Friday morning, was it, sir?
Correct.
Matt Feeney. So we're going to do a little double toast because there's a plane crash in Colorado. You probably saw it in the news. There was like a little small plane. But that's our, third one by crash, at least.
Yes.
8 or 9 that we've lost overall. So for really young guys, man. So way too young. Here's to them.
Salute.
Cheers.
Oh, ooh.
Chris, you had the GoFundMe. We'll probably put it up in the Rumble chat or something if I can find the wherewithal to do it. For some reason, there's 0 people on right now. It's really odd. But there's one person on Rumble. I think it's me. Oh, now there they go. Now the numbers are coming in. That was so weird. All right. Well, they didn't get your awesome intro, Jason. God, their loss. I guess we'll have to watch and replay.
That's
Okay.
all right.
Jason, the floor is yours, sir.
It's mine. What are we talking about? We're doing the
Toast
sip.
number 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. We poured one out for the homies. Now it's time.
For the Hermes.
It's time for the moment that sends the lizard people running back to the sewers. It scrambles the CIA spy networks. It alters our base reality. Yes, folks, it's our very own whiskey rebellion, known only as the Simulation Sip.
All you need is a cup, a mug, a flask, a goblet, a horn, or any ancient alien thermos filled with any beverage Big Pharma hasn't recalled yet. Could be coffee, tea, ivermectin smoothies, even whiskey. Dealer's choice.
So join us now as we raise our glasses in unison, confusing the AI overlords, forestalling the next CDC directive, and maybe, just maybe, waking up one more NPC. Here we go. Welcome back. Chris, welcome to our little glitch in the Matrix. That
Thank you.
ritual helps us see through all the code floating down on the screen, and we can see what's really going on. And welcome.
I've had
How are you
many
doing today?
Matrix talks.
Good. How are you guys?
Great to have you. For people that don't know, Mark, do you want to introduce?
Yes,
Who's this
sir.
guy?
It is
Why
my
is he here?
honor.
Yeah.
Honor and privilege to mention Christopher Woodsey Peralta. So Chris and I did 2 podcasts back in the day, Knocked Conscious, which we still kind of run a little bit or still runs a little bit. But we had this other weird, funny one called Beer Googles. And was we get drunk and look up random shit on the internet. That's what we did. That was like our beer goggles, but beer Googles. So that's how we did it. We had fun stuff. We talked about everything. It's so funny because we talk about like things now that we talked about then that people are like, oh, why are you bringing it up now? Is it because Trump's in office, you libtard? Like, I'll give you an example. We talked about Jeffrey Epstein 5 fucking years ago on a podcast, and people are like, oh, is it because you didn't care when Biden was president? It is so funny watching that shit. Anyway, so Chris is down there. He's so happy to join us. Zach was the one who got us together. So Zach, thank you for connecting us. Do we even have the comments up here? I don't even know what's going on here. Why are
Nothing.
they? There they are. All right. There he is. All right. So comment number 1. So we wanted to invite Chris. Chris has amazing thoughts. He's extremely introspective. And I love the way Chris processes ideas. So he had a thought about stuff and we talk about this stuff. So thought it'd be great to invite him on. Zach thought it was great. Everyone wants this. I'm excited, man. My nipples are hard. But before we continue, 2 things. Next week, Joshua Lysick, Unhumans. huge podcast.
That's gonna be a good one.
I'm still
Ooh,
trying to figure out how to ask the questions because, like, I don't want to challenge. I just want to get, like, I want to pick the brain more than anything. It's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how we do that because, like, he's very intelligent. And then the other thing, Jason, what's happening for you on Friday?
Hey, yes, I just got the invite this morning. Found out I'm invited to Are You Smarter Than a Politician on Friday. I think we start at 7 o'clock Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's 8.
I think you jump on 7:30 Eastern in the back room. You're in the green room, like in the super special secret lounge and stuff.
Check it out. I'm gonna try to make it fun and not too autistically weird. So come on over. It's gonna be great.
Make sure you post it a lot so we can repost all your stuff. Okay. So congratulations, man, for being on that. That's such an honor.
Hey, thank you.
It's so funny. Terry reached out to me. She's like, "Hey, what's Jason's @handle? Because I can't seem to find him because I want to invite him on the show."
Oh,
and I'm like,
that's
yes.
Nice.
So
yeah, Free asked me like months ago, and then I was like, yeah, sure. And then I never heard back. So yeah, it's cool. It's finally happening.
Yeah, they lined up some people. So you're amongst really good company because, like, the people they've had recently are pretty high hitters in the niches. So they've obviously been busy. So to fit you in is like great. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Oh, Terry confirmed she's here. She said yes, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
8 p.m. Eastern time. Right. Awesome. Thank you, Terry. So congratulations, Jason. That was the surprise, by the way. That was nothing.
Surprise.
So
wow, it even
Chris,
surprised me.
What are we talking about, man?
First of all, Jason, I want to apologize because the liquor store in the small town I'm in did not have barrel bourbon. So I am so sorry. Lo siento. My apologies. So I had to go
there?
Woodford Reserve, which is my.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That's my favorite right now. So
classic bourbon.
Salud. So I apologize.
I forgive you.
I thank you. You're very kind, and I appreciate your understanding. This idea came to me about a year ago, and it's been going on in my coconut all the time because that's how my stupid brain works. This is difficult for me to articulate correctly, so I apologize if it's rambling idiocy. Can the Western economic society that we have currently collapse? What would it look like if it did? Where would we go? What would there be a trigger that would send our economy, not just the US, but the Western societies, into another Great Depression? The way I look at it is the people that the bottom half of, say, Americans, the bottom half of income makers, every day it's more expensive to buy gas and eggs and bread, right? And the inflation rate is what it is. And the mere increases that we get every year, some of us, some don't, is not enough to keep up. So could there be a breaking point where our capitalistic ways that have been going on for 150 years, 200 years, whatever, can that fall apart because the have-nots can't even buy bread anymore? My perception is the CEOs and the C-suites of the Fortune 500 care about one thing and one thing only: maximization of shareholder wealth. And they don't care about.
Not only do they care, it's their legal obligation. By the way,
understood. But they also
it's weird.
They also
so it's like even doubly push, right?
Well, right. Yeah. So they're fired if they don't make money. If they don't make the shareholders money. Understood. But I could be wrong, but it looks to me like every day, every company takes a little tiny bit from the employee and from the customer, regardless if you're selling barbecues or you're selling dog food or you're whatever, or you're manufacturing patio equipment, whatever. But the business model is do whatever you have to do to maximize profits. And that the bottom half of society, in my opinion, is the one paying the price, literally, for that. So the system that we have now, I understand that was a lot of words. The system we have now, not just in the US, but Europe and Japan and Australia, can that fall apart because prices average people can't keep up with? Bye. Good night. Peace out.
And that's it. It's all over, guys.
Fucking just drop the fucking mic and the fucking flare right into the can of gas.
No arguments.
Walk away.
And maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe my idea is total garbage, and we're going to be fine. I don't know, right? I'm just speculating that if we continue on the path we're on, how does our economic society continue? I don't know.
It's a great question. I agree with you, and I bet probably everybody watching this recognizes the problem, right? You go to the grocery store, everything is 2-3 times as much as it was 10 years ago, right? You fill up your gas tank, it's more. Buying a house is ridiculous. Like younger generations are pretty much priced out of owning a home. So there's a lot of problems going on, and there's a lot there. So maybe we can break down any specific points that caught your ear there, Mark.
Yeah, I wanted to get just your overall first initial thought. And the second Chris brought this to me, can you frame exactly the question? Because I'll give you the retort of what popped in my head the second you asked the question, because your question specifically had the way you said it is a unique way to say it.
Me?
Yeah.
Can Western capitalism fail? Is that what you
I'm
mean?
like, can it? Can it?
Well,
I'm like,
it's
dude,
happening.
where have you been?
Yeah.
Like, and
Well,
and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like to your point, the trigger point, you don't see the trigger points if you're not looking, right? Like you didn't know we were in like the Civil War until you look back and go, oh, that was where it started, right? I think that's one of the big things, but it's like from a 50,000 foot, I'm kind of like, when is it going to, when is it going to happen, and how are we going to resolve it, I guess, is kind of where I'm at already.
And it's crazy too, because you look at people, Donald Trump will come out and say something like, hey, gas prices are under $2 now. And you're looking around, you're like, where the fuck is that happening? Nowhere. It's not. He's just lying. And his supporters are like, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. And you're like, inflation's down. And you're like, what are you talking about? Well, maybe it's not rising as fast as it was 3 years ago, but that doesn't mean it's down. We're still paying a lot more. So there's a lot of things happening. Yes, I agree that it's probably, if we continued on this current trajectory, didn't change course at all, I could see a collapse happening in 15, 20 years. I think that's reasonable.
So Chris, I'd love for you to go through the individual points that we can attack them one by one, because like we could totally bitch about our individual things about what we think about that, but you are our honored guest, sir. So we are so happy that you joined us. So we'd love to follow your lead on this. Like what brought you to think about these things, and how did you
you talked about the corporations. Maybe we could start with that. That was a good point. So you see them trying to maximize their profit share. And
right. And and I understand the way capitalism is designed and has been since the dawn of it is you try to make the most money. That's the freaking deal. We get it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Semicolon. Is that really that idea? How do I say it? It embraces greed, as Gordon Gekko said, right? Greed is good. Well, at a certain point, people are suffering. So both employees and people at the gas pump and people at the grocery, like to your point, Jay, about, at the grocery store, everything is more expensive than it was, 40%, 50%, double, whatever, right? So where do we, as an employee of a Fortune 500 company, I see every day that what I'm told and what the actions are not, they're retarded. They're not okay. So
how dare you? I'm going to cut this short. You just said the R word, sir.
We've been canceled. It's over.
Getting canceled is retarded.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Why would you let yourself get canceled? I don't understand that.
I don't care if I am. Whatever, man.
So, Jason.
Go ahead.
Oh, corporations. Or Chris, go ahead.
Yes, we're being sarcastic, obviously.
You know that, of course. Yeah, I have a master's in sarcasm, bro.
Yeah.
The thesis
for the
rough.
viewers.
The thesis is very rough. To your question, Jason, about corporations, I want to know, what does the future hold? Can we can we, the Western countries, continue on the path we're on, where it's all about, oh, it's the third quarter results are out and we had 12% growth and blah, 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 blah. Bunch of gibberish and shit. And the stock price goes up 59 cents. Like, oh dear God, what the fuck? But yet people get laid off or jobs are shipped overseas or whatever, So what does it look like going forward? And then to your point, Jay, about it's 15 to 20 years. I started calling you Jay, by the way. You didn't know that till right now.
It's all good.
So
I figured it out. Yeah.
Good job. You're the smart one on here. What does it look like what does it look like going forward? And is there a breaking point where you're like, oh shit, this system can no longer support itself because the people that buy things can't buy things? What is it? What is that? What is the breaking point? Do we already have it? What would it look like? And then what would our society look like after it collapses?
All right. So let's start with corporations. We had Per on. You and I, Jason, have had Per on. Per Bieland of the Mises Institute, Austrian Economics, Oklahoma City professor, right?
Oklahoma State.
University of Oklahoma. Oklahoma State. Phenomenal mind, okay? These people, look, economics is an explaining of the process. It doesn't tell you how to run things. I think that's one of the problems is we've made economics like a thing, like it's a force to do, where just like science is a force to do. It's like, no, that's just to explain what's going on, right? So we're using it to make rules when it should actually only be used to explain why what's happening is happening, if that makes sense. So secondly, we talk about corporations, regulations. What do regulations, they sell it to you, Woodsy. They sell it to you like regulations are there for your protection and your safety. They are only there to keep other competition out of their niche once they've gotten foothold. I'll give you an example. Per Bieland gave the greatest example about Walmart. Walmart is actually lobbying for an increase in hourly rate, minimum wage.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ask yourself,
to what?
Why doesn't I don't know the number, but like it's 15? Different in each state, I think.
Okay.
Right. I think he's going for federal or state or whatever it was. But the point is this. You ask yourself, why doesn't Walmart just pay more for their employees? What do they need to lobby a minimum wage for? Right. And the fact is, if they just paid their employees more and no one else did, they would cut into their profit. So it behooves them to actually force mom and pop to pay more that they can't afford, for example, to keep them out of the industry that Walmart and Amazon and all those places are in. So you think that these people are actually, it's supposed to help us, but these things are actually designed to help the people. So it's not the capitalism necessarily is the issue, it's the croniness part, right? Back in the day, the Adam Smith way was you invest back into the company.
Right.
There's an old TED talk that I wanted to go into. Something about the CEO used to make 8 times what the worker makes. Now it's like 1,000x.
Yeah.
So clearly there's been you know what I mean? Like a separation of us and them in a way that like we can do more because we can just skim off the top. But they're also getting away with it culturally in a way that they shouldn't. I don't think we should have let them happen. But I also think the government interference with their help actually exacerbates those issues. So I leave it to Jason for your thoughts on that, Jason, with corporation and everything.
Yeah, sure. We could take a step back because capitalism, by definition, is not what we have today. Capitalism is simply just private ownership of businesses. So individuals and companies can own the means of production or capital. So capital goods are those things that enable you to do production. And like a machine in a factory that makes the parts for your iPhone. That's one example. And a lot of people conflate this capitalism with a free market. And to some extent, that's true. Pure capitalism would probably be 100% private ownership of businesses. But then the regulations, what you were talking about, Mark, those come in. And every government regulation and policy is a restriction of that ownership. And that's not to say that all regulation is necessarily bad, but each one does have a cost because it's stopping you from doing something that would make you money. And then making money is just providing a benefit for the consumer. Now, that's the simple version. Of course, there's all kinds of things that come into play that are toxic. We have a really toxic version of capitalism that I think you're talking about there, Woodsy, that yes, it does become like a sickness almost, where people get obsessed with making money. And then it's not just making money by providing value for the consumer, it's making money through political means, by getting the right connections, by getting special deals with the government where they can price out competitors, they can keep their competition away, and they can pay lower wages. So it is a problem, right? But how we define these things, it's kind of hitting my buttons a little bit, because that's my background. I come from the more anarchist free market point of view. Any thoughts?
I can't get into the comments, so to answer Zach's question, it's a Hoya de Monterrey. Cigar.
What's Zach asking?
What cigar I have?
Oh, nice.
You see that? Where is that at? I'm looking for it.
It was towards the top, but I couldn't get into the comments because
Cuban?
technology.
Pure communist cigar.
I would like that. I don't think it is. It doesn't even say where it's from. That's weird. Whatever.
Yeah. So I think that's the corporation side of it. Now let's attack. Can we attack the money side of it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go ahead. Do you mind?
Let's hear from Zach. He's got a good comment. Economics is just an expression of both human behavior and human psychology. It's a philosophy more so than a science, no matter how the retards would want you to believe. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's turned into a thought. It's turned into, oh, this is what the way things are. This is how corporations make money. And I go to work so that I can buy bourbon and cigars and whatever, and provide for a family and invest and pay for college and try to retire and all that shit. So we're all in that, hey, I need to make money to buy shit. So I go to a job. It is what it is. But we do that. I don't want to say we do it willingly, but we do, because I don't own my own business. I rely on.
We do it knowingly because we know that we need to provide, and we know that we have a skill that someone can convert into productivity and compensate us for that.
And I like carne asada tacos, and I need to pay for carne asada. Okay, so
exactly.
That's why.
Yeah, you got to get the carne asada. You can't get just the fucking ground beef
barf,
or barbacoa or something. So that's the corporation side. Now, I think the biggest problem with actual money is the devaluation of the dollar over the years. So in our world, Chris, the worst year, I could probably ask Jason. He'll probably tell me, Jason, what do you think? I think the worst year in history of the United States is
1776. No.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
1913, I would say.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. All right. So, Chris, are you familiar with 1913 and what happened in 1913?
The Fed and yeah.
So, three things happened: the 16th Amendment, income tax, the creation of the Fed, and the 17th Amendment, direct voting of the state senators. It used to be the U.S. senators used to be appointed by the state. They weren't elected. So they changed those three things. So it made it more democracy. But we know that democracy is what? Was it tyranny of the majority? Right? Because it's like two wolves and a sheep. Well, what are we going to have for dinner, boys? I know how they're going to vote, right? So that's one part of it. So 1913, the creation of the Fed. The year after, oh my gosh, the first Great World War, the Great War. Just out of the blue, the year after, the funding to fund a war like of that magnitude came into existence is the year after is when it actually got initiated. What a coincidence that just happened to be, right? And then we've seen this continual printing of the dollar, and then we get off the gold standard in 71 with Nixon and things like that. So, Jason, what are your thoughts in that in a general sense?
I gotta unmute here. Yeah, definitely the money is the other side of this thing. So when the government decided that we can print however much money we want to. Every time they do that, that's taking something away from people. So you used to make like a silver quarter. Is that what they used to have? There's a classic example of a picture up there, and it's like a quarter used to be this 1 ounce of silver or something. Now that silver is worth what, 30? I don't know what the price is, $40 at this point.
41.41. I looked it up today, and we'll get into that.
Yeah. So an ounce, you used to get paid that as minimum wage. It was 25 cents, but it was an ounce of silver. Now that silver is worth $40, but your minimum wage is for federal is $7.25. Is that? I think it's $7.25. So you can see that they've been slowly extracting money. And Mark, you pointed out one chart that showed, the dollar has lost 97% of its value. But if you flip it and you look at the inflation, so you could only go to losing 100% of the dollar. That's the highest you could go, right? So it's incrementally smaller and smaller, but it's compounding and compounding. So when you look at the inflation, you invert the graph, it's going up and up and up. Over 3,000% inflation since 1913. 3,000%. So it's much worse than even that shows, even the 97% number. So they're taking all this stuff away. That means you're less able to plan for the future, right? Because now your money's worth less. It doesn't go as far. Like I mentioned, you try to buy a house, it's up hundreds of percents over the last couple years. Not couple years, but 10 years maybe. So looking at all these things, the money is a huge, huge reason that this is happening. It's not everything. There's still a lot of people doing bad stuff. There's still the toxic environment that we talked about, but this kind of enables it, right? So it lets governments extract money, give it to corporations. They get the bailouts. They give it to weapons makers who get these big contracts to make billions and trillions of dollars of weapons that we go to war with other countries. So yeah, I'm against that side of it.
I'm against war, bro.
Yeah.
There's not, all war is dumb. All war
It is
like,
dumb.
Your Russian dick is bigger than my German dick, so I gotta fucking bomb the shit out of you. Come on, man. We can't.
And Woodsey, you've seen my transition from that warmongering neocon fucktard to what I become, right? Like to the anti-war guy. You saw how I used to be that fucking asshole. A lot of people we know are those assholes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have friends that fly fucking fighters, and a high school buddy drove a tank in the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, whatever. I mean, obviously that military-industrial complex, right? We get it. Like war makes people money, of course.
Health of the state is what
right.
It's called.
Hang on.
Oh no!
Talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, it's not just my dogs barking this time. That's good.
Yeah, this time.
Hey.
So everyone, welcome all to this great conversation. We've got Christopher Woodsey Peralta down here. We've got Jason over here. We're talking capitalism and what's going to happen. Is it going to crumble? Can it crumble? There's a lot of things obviously in place, but we did see where spending, just printing money, look at COVID, from Trump in 2020, 6.6 trillion, Biden and it even got even more exacerbated. And then we get out of COVID and they go, hey guys, can we go to pre-COVID spending money? Can we just go back? I'm not looking to go to like 80s month. Can we go to pre-COVID, like 4 trillion? And they're like, fuck no, we're going to spend more. We're going to 7. Let's fucking jack that shit up. So look at that big, beautiful bill. And it's like, you cannot get away from printing that much money and not expecting inflation, devaluation, and all that of all the assets. And you were talking about the kids who can't afford like houses in generation. We talk about BlackRock and these corporations going and buying private homes. When was that ever a thing? You know, it's gotten a little twisted, right? Oh,
but BlackRock denies it. They say, no, we're not buying any houses. What are you talking about? You're thinking of Blackstone. That's what they say. Maybe they don't say that.
The one that BlackRock owns.
Yeah. It's our subsidiary that's doing that. It's not us.
Yeah, it's Brown Rock, dude. It's all the Mexicans at the
yeah.
Brown Rock LLC buying the houses.
Alpine.
Oh,
So, Mark, talk to me. I'm a little confused. Talk to me like I'm in 8th grade. So you mentioned 1913, the Fed, World War One, the devaluation of the dollar over 112 years. Hey, math, what's up? What do those things have to do with today? How did those things? Give me 2 sentences of how it shaped the situation we're in now, and then what do we do? What does tomorrow look like?
Yeah. So 1913 was the funding of the Rothschilds and Jason, please fill in anything that I missed. There's a book called The Creature of Jekyll Island, or Creatures.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's A Creature of Jekyll Island. That is a vital book just to explain. Basically, what happened was Woodrow Wilson, these people got on an island, they got together, they decided what they're going to do to America. They go to Woodrow Wilson and he implements it. I mean, that's basically what happened, right? Obama had his entire cabinet picked for him in a single email from like the head of like some Wall Street thing. You know what I mean? So the money's always been in there and connected in some way. And so what happened was, after 1913, we start lending money to all these countries by going to war, right? We put all this money into all this. Afterward, NATO happens. We fund NATO. We're in Japan. We're in Germany. Our empire stretches out. We've got 800 bases around the world. We just keep expanding, but there's nothing behind it actually supporting it, right? So we keep printing this paper stuff that funds this stuff. And at one point, France wanted their gold back. So it's 71. They want their gold back. And Nixon's like, nope, we're off the gold standard. So now our dollar's not even tied to any real asset. But we decided to tie it to the oil. So we made it the petrodollar. What did that create? The 1970s. What happened in the Middle East in the 1970s? Wasn't a good time. There were regime changes and hostage situations. Then led to the 80s and Iran-Contra, right? So now we're in this thing where we're bombing Iran again, right? So full circle, we now hold our dollar to this petrol standard that we need the rest of the world to be on. And if they're not on it with us, it devalues us even more. And if you notice, China, Russia, India, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're getting together, try to actually create another gold standard monetization that goes around our US petrodollar. So they're trading less in our dollars. So it actually devalues us even more, creates our interest rates to go up on the money that we're in debt for. By the way, our debt is $1 trillion a year and climbing. And that actually makes the rate go higher. It brings our rating down, and it just becomes a snowball kind of effect as well.
So those were a lot of words, Mark. And I don't know if you answered my question. I love you, but those are just words. Bro.
Yeah. So we kept fighting and building and growing. Like, okay, we fought the British Empire because they're imperialist fucks. We then became the imperialism after World War I and II, and funding that is bankrupting us just like it did to England.
Okay, so based upon what you said, England and the Fed and the oil wars of the 70s and all that crap, what does that have to do with bread prices today? The average American family.
Yeah, just by printing the amount of money that's out there, by having the supply of dollars, makes each individual dollar less.
Understood.
While they're not paying us anymore, it's just chipping away at the value of each person's wallet. So it's just constantly chipping away.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we could take this back a little bit to kind of the definitions of capitalism and what government used to do before the Fed. If they wanted to fund something, if they want to do a government project, you have to have the money for it. And the only way to get that back then was directly to tax people. So if people see that their money's going out with taxes, they might agree to some small amount, like 10, 15, even 20%. Yeah, I can live with that. If you started to see it going up 40, 50, 60, 70%, at some point, that's going to make you lose it and be like, hell no, we're not doing this anymore. And so, so they had to actually keep that in mind. Now they can just say, hey, we're making $1 trillion new dollars out of thin air. And it doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to us. Like you, me, Mark, it's not coming to us. It's going to a business. It's going to the banks first. So those people get the money and then they make the decisions where they think that money should go. Now, that's not based on any consumer preference. That's not based on, again, what you and I think that money should go to. That's not, we're not saying, hey, I want to buy groceries with my money. They're saying, no, we got to send this to Pakistan so that they can have their gender equality studies program, right? We're going to send billions there.
Man. Okay.
Yeah, right. It may be important, but it's not, it's not putting food in your stomach. So that's how it affects. It's because all that money is sending the wrong signals in the market, and there's so much more money available to people who play this toxic political game instead of providing something that's valuable to us. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
It does make sense, but no, I'm still confused. That's okay.
Okay.
I guess
that is okay. And we are also still confused, sir, because we're trying to figure it out too. Let's be honest. Man.
Well, yeah, but as a layperson, I have a goddamn business degree, but I still don't understand I remember being 23 years old and I worked for a large bank at the time. I was on the phone, call center rep, and they had a big meeting. We made just that credit card division alone made $240 million net profit in 3 months in 1995. God, I had hair. It was gorgeous. So, and I thought to myself, where's that money? $240 million. There's not stacks of cash somewhere that add up to 240, right? No, it's and I don't know. However, I was like 24 years old, something. I go, that's not real. This is all. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all on paper. It's not. There's not a room with $240 million. So
if every car got in a car accident at Allstate, they couldn't make the claim. If everyone called in their markers right now,
right. I don't know my point.
It is crazy.
And that's part of that valuation, right?
Yeah, so, you make a good point. If you look at the valuation of like Tesla, for example, how much is it? Trillions at this point. But if you tried to go sell the company, is anyone going to buy it for $1 trillion? It's not real.
They buy
it's not real money.
But not Tesla.
Yeah, the money goes in to shares and stuff, but then they use it, right? So it's not just sitting there. You're right. It's not just like some room with $240 million, like you were saying. It's out there.
Bullshit. It's
it's
on
fake.
paper. It's not real.
Right. Yeah.
So to Mark, if you could reiterate your forefathers' dining visit, and then I have a question regarding that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to share my Saturday night by myself.
Oh, were you all
I can
over
talk
yourself?
about how inexpensive my one drink was.
Were you all over yourself like a cheap suit?
Are
you the best you've ever had?
Me so hard. I hit on myself so hard at the bar.
Ooh, what up?
Give yourself a hand.
And they're like, why are you talking to yourself? I'm like, you leave me alone. So I went out because Megsy was at the Eagles concert at the Sphere. Awesome experience. She said it was great. And I'm like, I'm going to go out. So I went to local in Phoenix. I went to Steak 44, went next door for a cigar and a drink, and then went to Trevor's Liquor for a pizza to take home to munch on in the morning. Good stuff. So I get the steak. Boom. It's good. But you and I, sir, this is exactly perfect. You and I share a birthday week, right? And Jason, we might have to talk to you about that, by the way. But you and I, Megsy, we had another person. We had 4 people do our birthday. Our first one, I think, was at Steak 44. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
A baby arm shrimp was $8 a piece. Okay. They give you a baby arm shrimp. It looks like this, and they put it on a plate. It's like this big. Now it's delicious, but it was $12. So it increased 50% in only 5 years, or like 5 or 6 years. So think about, what's that, 10% a year? Are you getting 10% raises? I mean, everything's going 10%, right? Okay. So that was one example. The other example I gave you, we had a cigar next door. We've got a drink. I got a drink there once. The drink I got was $20. So it turned out to be like $21.80, $21.60 or something with tax. I was like, okay, it'll be a couple more bucks than that. No big deal. The drink before tip was $34.91. And it was the same drink. So it went up $13 in like one thing. So Jason, I think, has technical difficulties, or he's got dogs he's trying to kill or something.
He said he's going to go dark and he's listening.
He's cleaning up the crime scene.
I'm like your fucking secretary.
So Chris, you do make some great points. So ultimately what it is outside of it's not outside of our control, but it kind of is that the banks get to loan the money to whom they want. So with this upcoming thing in AI, for example, okay, you know that AI is starting to come up, but they're talking about winners and losers already before the game's even played. And how they'll do that is they'll give someone like Elon or somebody, right? They'll give them a low rate on an interest rate. They'll give them a low mortgage rate. Yet someone else in the industry, it'll be triple that. So they can't even afford to get in the industry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So these are all manipulations that are outside of us. The biggest problem is that we are an empire that's still trying to hold on, and we are printing money way outside of our means. We're just living like crazy people. That's really what it is. And that just devalues the dollar as a whole. And there's a point where like, it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. I just don't know when that is.
Okay. So you didn't answer the question.
Uh-oh.
About forefathers, you ding dong.
Oh, forefathers. Oh,
so you went to forefathers.
Megsy and I go to forefathers. We get 2 cheesesteaks, an order of fries, $50, over $50.
Okay. So my question regarding that is, that's obviously atrocious. And I shouldn't be surprised by that statement, but I am. So the question regarding that is, and that's a great example, but it's the question can go across many. You can look at, the price of beef or dog food or whatever. At what point are people going to stop going to forefathers? Let's just take forefathers, for example. Like, look, we can't go there anymore. It's $50 for 2 people. It's forefathers. It's not, I mean, obviously it's better than Taco Bell.
It's not Five Fathers or anything.
It's definitely not Five Guys. What up?
Taco Bell's not any cheaper, man.
Understood, but it's not
clear,
$6.40. Yeah. It's a decent place. The food's good, right? There's no argument about it. It's a good place. But $50 is, in my opinion, completely unreasonable. So when will forefathers go out of business? Because people can't afford to go there.
Yeah.
Go.
So Arizona does like to eat out. We all know that. So it's much of a culture to eat out here. But I can tell you from personal experience, Megan and I used to do the night that I had on Saturday. We used to do that every Friday night. We go out Friday night. We get dressed up. We go out and have a nice night out. We stopped doing that a few months ago, but for the last couple of years, we've been holding on, trying to make it work, right? Oh, maybe we'll cut the drink out. Let's cut the dessert out. Let's cut out the entree, or not an entree. Let's cut out like an appetizer or something, just so we can afford to do it, right? And now we're at the point where we don't do it, to your point. So there is, if you notice, the first time the jobs market is negative since COVID. Negative, the adjusted jobs market. That's not a generally good sign.
Does that mean the number of jobs created was less than the number of people that got let go or whatever, fired?
Correct. It was negative 27,000. I think it got adjusted to. Jason, if you remember? I
don't remember the number, but yeah, it was negative. Yeah.
See, but this is what our corporate overlords like to do. The sales guy, what's he do? He wants to fire the statistician that tells you the truth.
Okay, that's not
that
the point.
Doesn't solve the fucking problem, Donald.
When is forefathers going to close, or will it?
And that's the thing. I guarantee it shrunk. Which what'll happen is it'll shrink again. They're increasing prices to make up for that shrink, and it will become that snowball where they will snap, and they just will not be sustainable. They'll have to then negotiate with their leaser or their leasing person. Can we stay in for $100, $500 less a month or something? They'll work. Then they're going to start begging and groveling. Their quality product will go down, and then I mean, I can't see it go any other way. But people are stuck because like it's not like they're putting their groceries on credit cards now, Chris.
Right.
I mean,
and that's right. That's bad.
that's a family,
Yeah.
right? So like that's the scary part to me. If people want to go out and splurge and overspend, that's on them. But we're talking about somebody can't even fill their card up to feed their children without putting it on a credit card. That's
right. Yeah.
At 20%, 20 some percent. You know, snowball.
Yeah. I'm just looking for any stats that might support this. I don't see anything specific, but I am seeing, yes, fast food industry is generally losing business. Reports showing that declining foot traffic and sales for a lot of major chains this year. And the downturn is primarily driven by customers reducing consumption due to price inflation, which has made fast food seem like a luxury. So yes, I think you're right. People are going to stop going to these places. It's already gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, let's not go out to the sit down restaurant anymore because it's too much. But, maybe let's go out for a fast food. And that's going out.
But
So
McDonald's
it's already going down.
McDonald's 2 cheeseburger meal is $12.99. Fucking Chili's has the burger for $9.99. Like, holy shit. I'd rather go to Chili's.
Add tax and tip. You're adding another 20%. I'm just, once again, I'm not.
Yeah. Then if you get a drink,
we all need to think about, right? When we go out,
yeah.
is like, we know going out is going to have an intentional 20% add on to it. But you need to know that in your head. Do you know what 20% on $100 is $20? That's a lot of money. Like to people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like $200 bill is $240. So these are things that we're not all cognizant of. The thing that would be great is if in school we could teach a little bit more about balancing the checkbook, like you and I used to do, Chris, probably growing up.
Probably.
That would be a really good solution and a start.
Yeah, personal finances. Yeah.
You're not ones and zeros. It's not ethereal.
Right,
Just because you can touch your phone to the fucking screen doesn't mean it's not have to be there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's what people lose in the digital stuff. When they don't touch a page or they don't feel a dollar, it's not real. Like it's all part of the game in a weird way, like a digital fun.
I agree.
Yeah, it's an interesting point about the Chili's being kind of the same price as a 2 cheeseburger meal at McDonald's. It's a reason for that I could think of is that McDonald's is it's already was the cheap thing, right? So they've already found every way to minimize their costs that they can, I'm sure. So whatever they give you is the lowest quality thing that you can get.
Yeah,
Chili's
absolutely.
might have some wiggle room. So they might, instead of raising prices, they might be able to cut quality or maybe find a cheaper supplier somewhere. So they might be able to find a little bit of wiggle room to keep their prices more competitive, but McDonald's can't. They're already at the bottom.
Go Gators.
Yeah. Personal finance is a required course in Florida. It should be. But then what are they teaching? They're teaching that Keynesian economics.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God, Keynesian MMT that the guy, the actual head of the Fed can't even answer, right? Or Biden's own guy. So that too.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. We will move into our vehicles to save money in order to eat. I'm sure that's already happened to a lot of people. Just saying, you know what? I can't afford a home and to feed my family. I'm gonna get an RV or I'm gonna get a big car and live in it.
I'd like to make a point about the military, if I may, because we do have a lot of brothers in the military. We know a lot of people in the military. A lot of us, even libertarian-minded people, are military in, like, I don't know, duty, whatever, 2A at least, 1A, 2A, protecting those freedoms and liberties. What I'm finding, what really kind of concerns me, and I just lost my thought about the military, and it was
poop.
Gosh darn it. Okay. Less war. Less PTSD military people, less homeless PTSD military people, less people to have to support because we broke them by forcing them to do these things, right? So we see how we could solve certain problems by not initiating our force as an American force, right? Like we could solve 10% homelessness if we didn't have the PTSD soldiers coming home. What's that? About 10% of the homelessness right there. So not fight the wars, not have the PTSD kids. There's
Yeah,
there's
the
one part, right?
the people are, yeah, that's a huge problem, the people side of it. And then if you look at like what we're doing, we're going to destroy someone's city, someone's life, and then they're not contributing anything to the economy at that point. And then we also pay for the aid to go to those countries to feed the people that we paid to blow up. So it's all ludicrous. And that's our biggest expense as a nation is the military budget.
And we pay the other guys on the other side to fight the other guys. Don't forget. Remember, we sided with Al Qaeda and ISIS against
Yeah.
each other. The Pentagon funded one side.
Yeah,
And
you arm the
CIA
group
funded
that
other
then
side.
becomes in power, and then
Right.
you arm a new terrorist group to fight them, and just the cycle continues.
So let's get positive solutions.
Well,
Let's
let's
do
try to answer.
solutions,
Well, let's try to
guys.
answer his question. Do you? I mean,
Oh yeah, good.
I can't say when exactly forefathers or any of these chains are going to go under, but it does seem likely. We see the signs starting to happen, and anything could change. We could start to change course a little bit here, but I don't really see it happening. So I'm still on the, for fast food chains or for restaurants to go down, that could easily happen in the next 5 years. That would be my prediction. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think McDonald's, Burger King, Jack in the Box, stupid Taco Bell is going to be fine because they're a
Mhm.
massive conglomerate with the huge ability to negotiate cost from their vendors. And we're going to save 1 cent per taco shell, and that money's going to go to the shareholders, whatever. But the forefathers and the small, like the obviously the mom and pop stuff suffered greatly through COVID. And in Arizona, Bosa Donuts, the best donut place in the friggin' universe, are they going to go under because people can't afford a goddamn cinnamon roll? I hope not, because it's amazing. But it's a scary thought that those people are trying to feed their families and own their own business, but they can't even pay their employees. So they got to raise price. And per Mark's point, right on the money, it's the cycle. Like, we got to pay more. Everything costs more. We have to charge more. It's just this. It's an insane thing that's happening to stay in business just for just donuts. And then if you want to go into bigger things, you can. And it affects everyone, right? All the way up to a goddamn Boeing. So what are we doing as a human race? What are we doing?
And the working class wages are the last thing to get that increase, right? You see the prices go up way before wages start to rise with it. So it's
absolutely, dude. To go back to your point, Jay, about housing and the under 35-year-olds that can't afford housing, what do you see? First of all, it fucking sucks. Second of all, how would you envision the future of that issue in the coming 10 years? Will the younger folks will it adjust to correct that, or are we fucked?
I mean, we did see a big downturn in that market in 2008. After they totally blew up the bubble of the housing market.
Of course.
So something like that could happen. But then that's a problem for people that do own homes, obviously, because all your value, all your wealth is pretty much based in your home. If you're a middle-class person, that's pretty much all you have, right?
Right.
You don't have a huge savings account. You might have a 401k, you might have, some stocks or something, a little bit here and there, but your major portion of your wealth is tied up in your home for most middle-class people. So it's a big problem. If my house, which is valued, I don't know, somewhere around 550,000, if that drops to 200,000 and I'm still having to pay the mortgage payments on that amount, then that sucks. That really sucks for me.
For real, dude.
So,
we lived through 2008. Chris and I directly lived through that.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to have a job through all that bullshit. I got lucky and I missed all the layoffs, and I was able to make I kept my house. So I'm super lucky in that regards. And a lot of my friends were not. So they were just victims. They didn't do anything wrong. They just, I got laid off because some dipshit on fucking Wall Street acted like a dipshit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't see any signs of it changing, really. I think, they're trying to cut the interest rates again.
Yeah.
That's been the big push. They want to cut mortgage rates down, so that people can, have smaller monthly payments, perhaps, but then you're going to see the prices of homes shoot back up. And what's really interesting is that they didn't drop. during the downturn with COVID. So rates went up, pretty high compared to, they were like under 3% and now they're over 7.
Yeah.
But the prices didn't really go down. So now that's why people can't buy a house now, is because that monthly payment that you have is so much more. Instead of like $1,500 a month, which is doable for a lot of people, especially if you have 2-income household, easy. But then now it's like $3,000 a month if you get a new mortgage.
That's just not okay,
It's
man.
double. Yeah, it actually does double it. The mortgage rate doubles the price of the.
I in 4 years, my interest rate went. I moved like a ding dong, and my interest rate went from 3.25 to 4.5. Zero fault of my own.
And now it's like
Mhm.
7 or 8 or something.
I'm lost $300 a month because of the financial industry, and that had zero to do with me. Yes, I get it back. It's a tax deduction. Yes, I get it, but that's not the point. $300, I didn't do anything wrong. And
Yeah.
there's people way, way, way worse off than I am. So I'm lucky. I'm not even worse off. It sucks. It's stupid. Mark, go.
Well, 2 points is like, I thought you were talking general fast food, and there's two ways to look at it.
Sure.
Forefathers will collapse. Okay. Here's a statistic that a lot of people don't know. 41% of Black-owned businesses closed during COVID. 41%.
What about
That's black
brown-owned
businesses.
business?
I think it's black and brown people, color-owned
Oh, it
business,
was
whatever.
combined. I don't
They were
appreciate
businesses of
you
color.
lumping in the browns.
Yeah, they had
dude.
beige on the walls instead of
Beige.
pink. I don't know, whatever.
Beige people are the worst, dude.
So that's one. So forefathers would be one of those ones to suffer that.
Agree.
Hey,
Agree. Yes.
much more than a McDonald's. What'll happen to McDonald's is what happened to Toys R Us, what happened to Kmart, what happened to Sears. Venture capitalists will vulture in on these businesses, suck the ever-living shit out of them as they shrink and shrink and shrink and take all the value and equity out of it and leave that company holding the bag and declare bankruptcy. Watch somebody like an Ian Carroll talk about that stuff, how Toys R Us was like that. These venture capitalists. So, like, to your point, there are some things that would make sense to get in the way and be like, hey, we shouldn't suck that like Dracula, because if you suck it all dry and then it's zero value, well, then this is artificial value. Whatever you sucked out of it's not real value, right? For example. So these are the times where we should really look at it. But that's another part of the venture capitalists where they suck it like that and they play those mortgage games. And trust me, it is who you know.
Kind of turns me on.
Suck it, Trebek. Suck it, you little bastard.
I derailed it. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Please.
good. That was it. I was
Okay.
done.
So one of you guys said that many decades ago, companies would reinvest profit in the company, and that's happening less and less now, or not at all in some cases. I don't know what companies do, what companies don't. No one's privy to that information. So what would you guys say? How do companies get back to that model to basically increase the value of the product and the company and the employees via internally?
I would
I'm
say
sorry.
to stay private more than go public.
Okay.
Once you go public and you start selling your shares off to people, you're beholden to this whole other group of people.
Okay. So UPS, privately held company.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say my company's direct name, but my company, the owner of my company is awesome. He's very slow, sustainable growth, but just like not gone over his skis with greed. He values people and you see it, and that's great. So I can speak from a company that's been very good to me and very kind, regardless, you know what I mean? That's what I can speak for my company. A company like yours, Chris, I know aren't you in like a Fortune 100?
180.
Okay. So sub 200, but once again, and Jason works for a pretty big company too. I don't know exactly the name, but whatever. So
he works for Castles and Coasters. It's okay. You can say it.
Right. Like,
No, it's White Castle. Close.
We work at these other places. You've all got you're just a commodity that can be traded in, you know.
I know a number. Yeah.
You've seen it, right?
Oh,
now
yeah.
you've been lucky in your first where you shared shown how hard you work. You and I are sweat equity guys. We've earned our ability to do what we do, like be more remote and things like that. But
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
because, but it takes forever for someone in your, like a company like yours, to realize that kind of talent, because they don't experience, that's not how they view it anymore. They view
yeah.
people as fickle, so they'll be fickle about it. Like, how many people actually get their 2-week notice when they give 2 weeks? Don't they usually go, all right, you're out now? Like, they walk them out right away. It's like, I remember the 2-week notice thing was like a huge thing. You had to give it. They gave it to you. You honorably left your business. Like, you know what I mean? So culturally, things have changed too, I think.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's fucking so night and day, man. It's wild. Next question is, Mark mentioned our debt goes up $1 trillion a year, right? Just in the U.S. Of
No,
course.
it doesn't go up $1 trillion. It is currently the debt we pay is over $1 trillion a year, which
The
is
interest.
greater than our military
Okay.
budget currently.
Okay,
So we are 38 trillion total in debt,
right.
but the interest that we pay is 1 trillion. Just to clarify that, not $1 trillion. It doesn't go up $1 trillion a year.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
So, based upon the fact that it's a gazillion fucking dollars, why do we pay taxes if we're going to borrow money anyway? Like, why do I have to file a goddamn Form 9 fucking 51 or some shit because I have a dog and a half and they whatever? No, but in theory,
Yeah,
if we're going
it's a
to
I'm
great
not
question.
laughing at you. I'm laughing because I know exactly the answer, and it's like so the weirdest thing that you're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you saying, dude?" I just know that
it's
that's
counterintuitive. Like, hey,
Mhm.
we're going to tax our Americans 11 to 40% based upon your income bracket, blah blah blah, your deductions, blah, all that shit. Okay, that's great. Well, it's not great. It is what it is. It's been a part of life since 19 whatever Mark said 13. So why are we borrowing money if we're still taking money from citizens?
There's I think
Jason,
you're looking
please,
for an
you go
answer, and
first.
there's not
Yeah.
a good one.
Okay.
there's no
It's
good
so
answer.
deep and wide, but Jason, please go first, please,
But
because
yeah,
there's
no,
so
talk
much.
to me like I'm a 7-year-old. I'm being serious.
Yeah, philosophically, I think the reason that they still tax us is just to make sure that we know who's in control, that we don't have control over our own lives. That's my theory. But they'll take income wherever they can get it. If they can print some money and also get tax money, hey, that's double. Now they can spend twice as much money on whatever the hell they want. So there's not a reasonable good answer to that question. It's a great question and one that everyone should be asking.
It's for control.
Okay.
The only reason taxes exist in any way is because our spending happens. So as our increased spending happens, they find a way to justify it. And if you look at the first income tax, William, you're in the chat, so please jump on, and if you could find us what the first income tax rate was, and people were like, "Oh, we can handle that," right? Because it won't go up. It won't go up, right? So like, it's just going to be a little thing, but then it gets bigger and big, and then you're slowly trained. Now, Chris, you go, "Why do we pay taxes?" I put that on Facebook. You want to know the first response I get?
No, but tell me anyway.
What, the rich should pay their share. So
That's
like,
not the fucking
not only have they
question.
conditioned
Yeah.
you to not fucking pay your taxes, they've conditioned you to defend fucking taxes. Like, people don't even realize that
Taxes
they've
are the
been
price we
completely
pay
co-opted.
to live in a polite society, Mark. That's
Right.
the answer.
Is it really a
Right, to
polite
pay
society?
What
No.
if the rich paid their fair share? That's the problem. It's not that we're taxed, it's that the rich don't. No, it's that we're fucking having our money stolen from us by people who are spending it incorrectly. That's really what it is, right?
And if I remember correctly, the first income tax was about 2% of income, and it was only for like the top 10% of earners. So everyone in the bottom 90% paid no income tax.
Right. And Chris, we are in the top, we're probably in the top 20% of like everyone, but we might not be in the top 90%, right? We might be in the 80%. So you and I look up at those guys and go, yeah, they can pay that. Well, guess who's next? the 80%ers, and then the 70%ers, and then the 60%, right? So it's just like that's how they do it, but that's how all entropy happens. That's why government has to be like headed off at the pass, because it can only grow. It either grows or collapses, right? Or there's a revolt. There's not, hey, let's roll back government. Have you, come on, roll back. I haven't seen it,
It's pretty sad when a Megadeth song quotes President Bush, read my lips, no new taxes. Like when a thrash metal band talks about taxes, don't you think that's a fucking problem? It's usually about anger and religion and fucking, metal shit, not fucking taxes. And that song was 1992 or something. So obviously it's been 30 whatever years. So that's, to me, that's.
Does it talk about war in that song too? Because did they tie taxes and war in some way?
Well, it's called Foreclosure. It's called Foreclosure of a Dream. So it was a commentary on the housing market, and they
that makes sense.
They put Bush the first in there, whatever. But
and then of course taxes went up.
When dumb metalheads are talking about stuff like that, that should say something about the overall climate of all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've got Ozzy with War Pigs. That was a good one. Talking about the war state. It's not taxes, but it's all related. It's all tied together.
One of my favorites was the lyrics are the rich get rich, the fat get fat, the poor stay poor, as the 1% rules America. And that song was released in 1987 by Queensryche. And there's a bunch of War Pigs and, The Watchtower by the Rolling Stones. And there's a bunch of songs about anti-war or about money or about politics over the last 40 years. And fucking zero has changed. It's still those words, regardless of if you like that music or not, those words sadly are still applicable. What the fuck? Yep. It's not, zero's changed.
Yeah. And I got to mention System of a Down, one of the best anti-war lyric.
Why do we always send
artists.
the poor? Hello?
Yeah, exactly.
And Rage Against the Machine, one of the greatest and then most disappointing.
Yes. Yeah.
They get both sides of that.
And it's crazy, right? They can openly talk about this. Like the three of us, we know about it now. A lot of other people know that this is a big scam, but it still happens. Like, can we stop it? What can we do?
Really? And I don't know. And that's the fear. The fear is, I think there's a breaking point because it's not bending back. I thought it might have this chance to bend. I did not see a savior in the orange person who joined, but I thought we'd cool down just a little bit. Maybe maybe like take our foot off the fucking gas. Maybe stop turning it off the cliff. Like maybe turn the wheel a little bit. I don't know, something small correction. No, we double down on certain things and like triple down on others. And you're like, okay, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. But these people see left or right. They don't see what you and the three of us see, the people in our chat see. They don't see the better way. The net better way is these two sides are not in opposition. They all want power. And what was the Lysick quote thing from Unhumans? I can't wait to bring it up. It's something like, what is it? People who want power, or something about people in power only want power. It's like, that's what they want. Power to the people means power to the people who want power, right? So it doesn't matter if they use a left ideology or a right ideology or whatever method they mentally confuse you or trick you into voting for them. They're the same group, because to your point, the companies, the corporations, the military, these other complexes, education, military, pharmaceutical, all these other housing, right? Interest, mortgage, banks, they all push and pull that Chinese puzzle the way you're saying is you push it here and it pops out there, right?
Bye, Terry. Go Nose.
Terry. Terry's awesome, Woodsy. You and Terry would have a good time. Actually, you should come in on Friday. Are you smarter than a politician? Are you smarter than a politician?
I really hope I am. This will be a nice IQ test for me.
Don't let us down. Don't let us down, Jason.
Are you allowed to like phone a friend? How's that work?
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
so.
Oh, I don't know.
You've been on, Mark.
Yeah,
talk
they
about
just
it.
ask questions, you just answer them, and then you can jump in. It's fun, and then you can nuke people, and it's fun times.
And get in the live chat because the points come from people in the live chat.
I wanted to share my nuke trick because everybody starts with negative 500 points because the government gets their cut. I
Mhm.
wanted to nuke Jason right away so he starts at 0. I'd actually be giving him an advantage, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to like trick their system at all.
Ah,
So, anyway,
I'll be fine. It's gonna be great.
you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You're gonna be good. So Chris, man, so these other questions, like, can it survive? I think it can, but I think we need to transition away from this dollar thing, or we need to have precious metals, other alternative currencies to work around that. Bartering's going to become a thing again. Homesteading. You live in a beautiful place. This is my problem is COVID shrunk me from 2 places to 1. What I would have loved, that my whole goal was to keep that one place during like just for 20 years and then sell that and then buy like a homestead place somewhere else, right? But I lost it because COVID had so much like unknown to it that I got scared. But those are forces outside of our control, unfortunately. Those are all COVID policy. Now, I could argue it's like maybe different politicians wouldn't have had those policies, but doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We did, right? We did have those policies. My argument would always be shrink government as much as possible because any power that can be used for you can be done to you.
Yeah, but we kind of already talked about like the government's not going to shrink itself, right?
Yeah.
So one thing my position is that it should break up at least because if you have such a big country, you've got 330 million people, you're not going to make, even if you wanted to, even if everyone was pure and wanted good things for everyone, you're not going to make good decisions for 330 million people at the same time with the same decision. It's not one size fits all, right? So break it up. I think if states started to say, you know what, this system's not working for us, it's not benefiting for us to be part of the United States anymore. Arizona could do it. We could say, yeah, we're done with this. We're going to separate. And I don't know how peaceful that would be. It depends on really who's in charge at the time, if they'll let that happen peacefully. Hard to see that happening, but that is one potential solution, at least a step in the right
Texas
direction,
and
I think.
Louisiana agree. Texas, Louisiana, and Florida are already their
Yeah.
own fucking countries. It's just, I mean,
Right. And California too.
Louisiana's a bunch of psycho fucking Cajuns. God bless
Yeah.
them. You know, so if
Yeah.
Florida's fucking wild, so why not? Why not break away? Again, the federal government would be very upset, and they would lose all that income, and they would roll the tanks.
Two challenges with that is funding. How much federal funding is given to states? States are already bankrupt and broke already, and they're on the tit. They're on the tit. Everybody's on the tit. You know what I mean? So like to break away, you'd have to do it. Now there are
from their own money.
New Hampshire.
Like they're taking money from people in the states to give to the federal government, and then they give us a little bit back, and that's supposed to be welfare. Yeah.
Right. And that's supposed to be better for us, right?
Yeah.
Instead of letting us just hold on to it and use it the way it would work naturally within the marketplaces locally and regionally and everything, right? So that's the first problem. New Hampshire's trying to do it, but let's be honest. You think America won't let Afghanistan go? You think they're not letting Syria go? You think they're gonna let like North Carolina go? Like they're gonna be like, fuck that. No, you're under no, sorry, you're just not. You're under martial law.
Do we need the Carolinas?
No, but look at this. It's going to be it would be a civil war. There would be if one state were to do something like that, I could see that easily. I think the election in November could have triggered that. I really do think if the other side won, it may have triggered some people to overreact.
You mean 2024?
Yeah, I do think so.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do think that they pulled on the reins. Now, I'm not saying correct or wrong decision. I'm not saying anything about the decision. I do think, though, after 2020 and the claims from a very passionate group of people and a pretty good chunk of people, if that would have happened again, I think they would have been like, no, this is bullshit. I don't know. I just think so. But I'm glad it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
a
other
fan
thing
of
that-
death.
Yeah. No, me neither. But the other thing that I think keeps us from a collapse is also innovation. So every time there's some, big new innovation in technology or something that makes stuff cheaper for us, that helps because, as I said, there was 3,000% inflation, but we're not paying necessarily 3,000% more for everything. It's, things like televisions is a good example that have gotten bigger and better, but the prices come down. So that helps. But what the government does is they step in and extract the excess. So we could have explosive abundance. We could be living in probably paradise right now. I think if we didn't have this Federal Reserve System, the world that we live in now with all the technological advances and everything, it could be paradise. It could be so abundant and we wouldn't have these problems. We'd probably be super, super pissed if we could see that alternate reality. Yeah, that's the other part of it, is that technological advances save us in that it makes things more affordable in one way, but it could be so much more,
Agreed.
So it's keeping us from the collapse. It's enough to help, but it's not preventing the complete theft, I guess.
And with AI coming up, we haven't talked, Chris, but automation AI will ultimately make everything cheaper. The question is, will jobs be replaced at the level of the cheapness, or will it? And that's where I think that's where I'm concerned. I'm concerned automation AI will. I watched that Diary of a CEO thing. Holy mackerel! What was the one statistic? The guy claimed. Now he doesn't claim they will be replaced. He's talking about the ability to replace the jobs. We need to very much separate those two things, right? But he thinks that 99% of jobs can be replaced by 2027.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they will be.
Right. Okay.
But they could be, given the funding or whatever. But you can see a government who sees a company like Amazon or something, like, will tilt the stack their way and we'll fund them at a lower rate, right? We'll give them money and fund them, and they'll box out all these other innovators like you and me that are trying to make things work too, right? So that's a concern.
The only thing that matters to me about AI is, am I going to be alive when a Blade Runner sex bot is going to show up on my doorstep? Okay.
Under lubed sex bots, sir.
Well, I'll pay for lube. I have Amazon, bro.
Oh, that's right. They'll just drone drop ship it.
Yes. So to your point about the Diary of the CEO, and I watched the whole thing and read some about that, and he seemed very doomsday-ish regarding AI and jobs, etc. What grain of salt? What do you guys think about AI and the future of employment in the coming 10 years?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for the last 3 episodes, really.
Right.
So
specifically regarding the workforce.
Yeah. So I can see a case where it does drastically reduce the workforce quicker than we can think of new things for people to do, right? So the AI, at least the AI we have now, isn't really like inventing new things. It's really good at taking massive amounts of information and making things easier. So the job that I do, the job that Mark does, I'm not sure what you do, but it probably could, it could either take your job, or you could be 1,000 times more productive in your job.
Right. It's a very fine line. It's oh, hey, this is amazing, or oh fuck. You don't, and we don't control that. We're the downstream,
Right. So I mean, yeah, I really recommend people to figure out ways to use it and make it work for you, rather than just wait for it to take you over, but yeah, it could go either way. It's really hard to say what exactly is going to happen. It's going to vary a lot in different cases. It's going to depend on people too. Like, it's going to depend on the bosses that you talked about, the CEOs. They're like, do I want to lay off all these people? And then what?
Well,
we can make 1,000,000 trillion gadgets to try to sell people, but if no one has a job to buy that thing, Who are we selling to?
Do you think the C-suites are thinking about that? About, oh shit, my number one thing is maximization of shareholder wealth, right? I get that. It sucks. It is what it is. So do they go? Do the C-suites say, oh shit, if we continue down this path we're on, no one's going to buy our shit. And we're obviously Americans, a very service-based economy. Are they going to need dry cleaning? Are they going to, do we need all the services that American companies produce? Are they worried about falling apart because the average Joe can't fucking pay for shit?
I don't know what they think about, to be honest, but I mean it's going to be the reality either way. They're going to have to deal with it at some point. They could think about it in the future, or they can take it as it comes. I suspect they probably think about the future. Like, yeah, if we have no jobs, if no one has an income, they're not going to buy our stuff. Then we make no profit. That's pretty simple, right? So again, I can't say what they're thinking, but I would imagine that has to at least cross their mind. And then they're not just going to give people jobs for charity, I think.
No shit.
So what happens at that point? That's a tricky question. Mark, you're muted.
I just
Mark.
remuted myself.
There you go.
Darn it.
Technology.
There's so many problems with this.
Oh, you want to pick one
I
or
think
two?
they are looking forward, but if you notice, I think they're pivoting to take over markets that will be down the road. While they're trying to bleed the rest of it out, if that makes sense. I don't think they're trying to maximize what they're currently doing other than maximize the profit from it. So they might not be innovating as much in the thing that they're in. They might be looking at, like, let's look at real estate or what other things we can do, that would pivot away from that. But every company's different. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million. And that's still a shit ton of money. But shit, you'd make that back, the first week? Like, no joke. Like, it's unbelievable. And there's a vision. And there's still a way that you still have to do it, right? So, like, it's not just having the vision. You have to also implement it right. You have to work around the other stuff. You know what I mean? So there's so many obstacles you just have to navigate. But we are, first of all, we're competitive. We are industrious. We want more. Now, greed in that way is certainly good. When it comes at the cost of others is when the greed gets bad. When the guys in the $5,000 suits like, yeah, I can sell another Tomahawk missile. I know it'll kill, but it's only 100 of the brown guys over there. Like, it's not us. What's that matter? It's like, that doesn't really make sense. Or let's shoot down a balloon with a $400,000 missile that missed. Yeah, let's do that. Like, what? So even that alone, like the $800 hammer, for example, that we talk about, those things are all like incorporating this pricing of inflation to hide other costs on top of it. So imagine just what transparency would do. If the books were actually open and we could look at them, people would go, like, beyond Doge. They'd go absolutely apeshit if you saw really how it affected you.
Yeah, they could be greedy. They could just say, yeah, we don't care about the jobs. We don't care about the people. But very quickly, they're not going to be making any money because no one will be able to buy their stuff. So they have to change something at that point. And
look at Bud Light, Cracker Barrel. I mean, logo changes and beer to transgender people created hundreds of billions of dollars in lost productivity and revenue over a cultural, So what you really want to do is you'd want culturally to have your kids and teach them these types of roles. But it'd be nice to have someplace to start is like, hey, we're going to start implementing this for the culture because this is good for everybody. But, there's a voluntary aspect to it. Not everybody should be forced. You shouldn't be forced to do it, So there's a lot of things at play there.
Yeah, we could go back to the money too. The monetary system, the money that we have, fiat money, it incentivizes short-term thinking. So because that money's expanding, it's losing value all the time. You just want to spend it. You want to spend it. Or if you're on the bottom end of the socioeconomic spectrum, you're like, I don't care. I'm not worried about going to jail because what happens to me next year doesn't matter. I'm worried about today. I need food. I need some money. I need to have a shelter, you know? And so they'll go steal, they'll go do whatever they need to do to get it. And again, because that dollar that they had is now worth 3 cents, they're not thinking long term anymore.
And with government's growth, it is cultural, Chris. Your heart is so big, right? You care. I care.
I hate that.
The problem is the government, whoever these entities are, they weaponize your compassion against you. It's like, don't you care about the children? Of course you want to implement this.
Help?
Right. Like, of course you want to implement this tyrannical surveillance policy because it's for the children. And you're like, that's great. So many of us really do care, and they know how to do it. We watched Century of the Self, right? We did that 4-part, that whole Edward Bernays stuff, all that propaganda, all that stuff is played psychologically. And all Jason and I do, we just create messages or try to be clearer or like cut through that shit. And it's like, no, this is how they're lying to you. Why do you think they claim that there's a drug dealer in Venezuela when 3 years ago Trump said we could have had all that oil? Like, why do you think you're connecting these two things? And maybe you should think about those things, right? But then number of people are limited. So how do you both lead them to water and almost have them at least lean down to take a sip, right? Some people refuse to even, want to do that. So it would come with a cultural thing to be more open-minded and transparent and open as a whole about our flaws personally as we show other people's flaws.
Yeah.
My last question, Mark, you made the comment that the current model is not sustainable, and that's a perfect word. So how would you guys, if Western capitalism fails, implodes, whatever, collapses, what would things look like after that? In Europe and here in Japan, Australia, etc.
Yeah, you can see historical examples of this. You could look at the Soviet Union, complete economic collapse. It was millions of people starving to death. It was millions of people murdered for having too much, for having anything at all. Really,
it sounds like the French Revolution, actually.
Yeah,
very interesting.
We didn't learn shit in 200 years. Nice job, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, humans don't change. This is the problem. The technology's changed, but the biology hasn't caught up with it, right? So we're still throwing piles of shit at each other. It's just whatever the size, the power, the type, it's a different kind of shit maybe, but we're still throwing at each other, right? And to Jason's point, we do have Joshua Lysick, co-author of Unhumans, next week. Chris, I definitely want to get you a copy of that book. It's about how communists, it's exactly what we're talking about. There's a copy of it right there. But basically it's about how communism, how Maoism, how these things came up. Jack and Joshua, very MAGA, anti-communist, and I'm not to criticize, but I think anti-communist to a slight flaw. I don't want to say fault, but I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's some things like, it's almost like Nietzschean, like you're becoming the monster that you're trying to fight. That's kind of what I see in a lot.
Well, that's what you said it, dude. That's what America became. We kicked the shit out of the English, and now we became them. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's shameful.
Replacement theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that it's really important to know these things. But the problem, okay, it's great now, and it will be great. The transition is the concern. I don't want to live through the transition.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the eggs get broken to make the omelet.
Because why?
Famine, death, violence,
rioting,
attacks. I can protect myself only to an extent. I've only got X amount of rounds and X amount of stuff, like X amount of things. And like Megan's like, yeah, we're unprepared. We're fucked. We have a little bit of extra food. We have some extra food. We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we're not prepared to any level where like we're not hunkering down in our compound for months, which is why I'm trying to find a way to get something out that we could find something to at least get away from this stuff. Because I think high concentration of populations are going to be the most dangerous. Obviously, because you're running into each other, but you want to talk scarcity. A city without trucks dropping off Amazon shipments every 3 minutes. Yeah, people are going to start. I mean, look what happened with toilet paper, Chris. I mean, I use that as the example. You saw it.
It's so retarded, man. I still don't
You saw
understand
Christmas
why
specials. Stampeded to death in Walmart. Anyway, good.
Why would you fight over TP? Why don't you fight over steaks and bourbon? I mean, what? Where are
Right?
your priorities?
Why not fight over bungholes? You're fighting over TP?
Precisely.
I got nothing. Anyway, so
Everyone
all
knows
right, so
COVID gives you epic diarrhea. That's why. That's why the TP.
Oh no, the dreaded butt pee. Watch out.
You got to stay clean.
So,
but yeah,
so Chris,
a lot of bad things can happen, right? I mean, even if we don't get to the point of total, anarchy in that, the chaos sense, then, things can get pretty bad before people really break, like, again, looking at the Soviet Union, things got really, really bad and there wasn't much pushback. They were just like, oh yeah, our leaders are great. They're looking out for us. What's wrong? So people really need to know why this stuff is happening in order to solve the problem. And it might be a lost cause trying to convince people that their favorite politician is no good, because none of them are. But yeah, I mean, you really have to know the reasons, and it could just be like a slow trickle down until we're kind of in a horrible position and we didn't even realize that we got there. You know what I mean?
It seems like that's the path we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, slowly, very slowly over decades, companies take more from employees and from customers every single day, a little tiny bit. But over decades, that's a lot. And I think it's wrong.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of shady stuff going on.
Chris,
Again,
can I
if we
ask
were
you a question?
pure,
Absolutely not, Mark. You cannot ask any more fucking questions, man.
Real quick.
No
real
real
quick.
quicking, you son of a bitch.
Abe Lincoln. What are your thoughts about Abe Lincoln?
May he rest in peace.
Do you find him to have saved the United States, or should he have let the United States break to way we're talking about it right now?
I don't know, man. I've never thought about that before. Obviously, I'm not a fan of slavery. That's not cool,
But he didn't do it against slavery because he had slaves in the North while they're fighting the war. He allowed the North. Once again, okay, so I'm only bringing this up, Chris, because you and I, we are susceptible to the thing that Zach talked about the manipulation here.
For sure.
How many times have we been told Abraham Lincoln is the greatest motherfucker on the earth? He saved the republic, all this shit, right? The more I've decoupled and deprogrammed from my cognitive dissonance and everything, Lincoln is not the savior that we all talk about. Imagine if the country was allowed to break up into its like actual belief systems and cultural, how prosperous all of the groups could have been. Instead, we've waged a war to kill our own brothers and sisters, tyrannize half of the country to hate the other half for still resentment over that, right?
Yeah, it's really fucking sad.
Like,
dude.
think about that as a whole.
I've had friends say, Southern friends, the South will rise again. Like, dude, what fucking year is it, man? Can we not? Why? Dude, that was like so many. I'm sorry that your great grandfather fought at Gettysburg. I'm sorry, bro. But fuck, can we let it go, man? Shit. Move on. Let's go. It's gonna be okay. That was so ancient history. Come on.
Yeah. But once again, the powers that Lincoln took and used and abused for temporary measures to restore the Union or hold it together kind of became permanent like 1913 in ways with, you know what I mean? And then what? Didn't Obama suspend habeas corpus? I mean, he's suspended. It's been suspended. So, you know, ultimately, these things that used to be our freedoms and whatever, it really does come to like, I don't like what you do, but you're welcome to do it because what you do has no influence on my life, but you make really good eggs and I like your eggs. And I make good bread. And I'm a fucking asshole, but my fucking bread is the shit. So why don't I give you some bread, you give me eggs, and we don't fucking talk, and we just hand each other shit and we're good. Like, there's no need for me to go to your house and just take your eggs because I don't like you. You know what I mean? You come over my house, take my bread. No, I think we can figure it out. I think we can figure it out.
But that, to me, that goes to tens of thousands of years of instinct and DNA and the survival mechanisms that each of us have inside, and we haven't evolved. You know, yeah, we have air conditioning and fucking Wi-Fi and the stupid internet, but we're still cave people at the root level. And people, it's a survival mechanism. And I don't think that has a lot to do with, well, maybe it has to do with capitalism, but that's a different conversation.
It's all connected. And I would
Screw
just
you guys. I'm going home. And I don't know who I am we, but I like that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great.
He
That's
was on
William.
Our show. Yeah, William.
Yes.
He was on our show.
Oh,
2 weeks
fucking
ago.
William. Dude, hell yeah. I didn't realize that was William because he's got some smart comments, man.
Yeah, he pulled one up about scarcity and I just lost it.
He said, we don't have free markets. Solutions are segregation into small, like-minded individuals, free markets in these communities with walls and defense. I think, yeah, smaller is better. Even when you look at corporations, as a company starts to get bigger and bigger, it's hard for them to manage everything that's going on. And you get massive amounts of waste at the very least. And then you get crazy things. And then you get into the toxic environment that's maximizing shareholder profits and all that. So, yeah, I think smaller is almost always better.
But companies aren't getting smaller. It's all about mergers. It's all mergers and acquisitions, right?
You are correct.
And that was another point we never talked about. Networks from 30 to 6, consolidation of wealth, consolidation, centralization. And those are the regulations that keep other groups out while more companies consolidate power.
Zach said William really is like the uncle I wish I had.
Despite the Buckeyes, I like Zach.
He's a good dude. Yeah.
Buckeye.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
That's all I got. It's it.
Capitalism.
Yeah. Oh, but it does happen.
Connected,
Corporations do divide and split off into separate businesses. It does.
I found it.
It does happen.
You mind reading that
go.
one? And I just have a comment about that one, Jason, if you don't mind.
Yeah, William said the scarcity principle. So today there's too many dollars chasing the same loaf of bread, and that equals artificial inflation.
And the scarcity is also like, we ain't got much. We got to hold on white knuckle as much as we can too, right? So that's the other side of it. You kind of become tribal.
Yeah.
Now,
scarcity is a real thing. There's not, unlimited goods and services for everybody, right? So at some point you have to make a choice. Where do I want to put my dollars? But if the government is doing that for you, they're probably going to make the wrong choice. That's my position.
Jason, did you the Brett Weinstein book, Hunter Gatherer's Guide? Did you?
I do have that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Chris, what I'd recommend is there's a book by Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather Heining. It's called The Hunter Gatherer's Guide for the 21st Century, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the technology is way faster than our primal brains are catching up.
Yeah.
And we just need, and it shows, and they show where and how it does it. And you're like, yep, that's exactly how it yep, that's where we go. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, anything else, guys? Any other questions? Anything burning? Did we answer any of your questions at all? I don't know if we did.
I fucking know, man.
I think I gave him 10 more questions.
We're back where we started. I don't even know why
Chris,
we're doing
your
this.
show, man. Thanks for joining us. It's been great. What else would you like to talk about?
That's it, man.
We talk about religion if you want.
Probably not a great idea, you dipshit.
Let's not. I'm just fucking with you, buddy.
You know what I want to say, but I won't say it.
Hail Satan?
You fucking know it.
That's all right, man. That's funny. Anyway, so yeah, sir. Any other questions off the offshoots, off the other pieces, or
No, sir. That's it. All my questions have been crossed out, bro.
So, like, long story short, over time, we've slowly devalued the dollar itself. Like, our whatever we use to purchase other goods has been chipped away, and it's now not worth what it used to be worth. So we need more of them. The problem is we don't get paid more of them in the same rate that this gap is happening, it seems, right? And
Yeah.
then there's these jumps, like COVID was the largest upward transfer of wealth. So these huge parts, and it's always a haves versus the have-nots. And this isn't like a communist have not, take everything from everyone. No. This is just like, okay, I know the playing field's skewed. I don't need it more fucking skewed, please. Okay, you already have advantages built into the system by having like generational wealth and having the education, like all these other things ahead. I don't need the government to help me by fucking my life over to make their business better. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, greed will always exist. That's always going to be something to watch out for. But if you give it a system where it can thrive and give it a system where it doesn't have to provide some kind of real value to people in return for the money or for whatever they're getting out of it, then it's not going to be a good system. And I wrote something, an if by whiskey, but if by capitalism, if we want to close out with this.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if
so before we though, we have an Irish goodbye, the Irish exit, sir.
You're not supposed to announce it.
You are not aware, Christopher, of the Irish goodbye, the Irish exit, but do not leave when it happens. Don't leave. Don't click out. We will get you back on after.
Everybody else, you can leave, but Chris, you can stay.
Yeah, Chris, you stay. But we've lost people after this, so we don't want to lose anybody after this. So just stay. Just stick around. Don't do anything. Anyway, if by capitalism.
So if you don't know the if by whiskey speech, it was some Mississippi state representative that gave a speech praising and at the same time totally denouncing whiskey during a time of prohibition. So here's my if by capitalism. So if by capitalism you mean the current system we have, the Leviathan state that tries to control everything under the guise of safety and equality, the thing that rewards rent-seeking and political favors and political popularity instead of providing a real benefit to customers, and the thing that keeps us constantly at war with the world, then yes, I am certainly against it. And I do think it will ultimately collapse. But if by capitalism you mean the thing that allows us to save for the future, to develop better ways of doing things and make a better quality of life cheaper and more available to everyone, the freedom to take on some risk for the potential bigger reward, the price system that tells us information about what people want, even when they might not be able to articulate it themselves, then hell yes, I love capitalism.
Well said, sir. Well said.
This has been an If by Woodsey.
What up?
Thanks for joining us, man. It was a good time.
I thank you guys. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and if you ever have a fun, like one less heavy, we can do one less heavy too. We do a bunch of stuff, but it's so good seeing you, man.
Hey,
And it is kind of odd. It really is odd closing on this with Matt and everything. When we have a tragedy where we lose someone that we're all close to, we got on a conference call with Matt's wife, and there were about a handful of brothers, maybe 10 brothers on there. It's like, I hate that this is when we reach out to each other because of a tragedy. What I love though is that you and I scheduled this before this tragedy happened. That wasn't the catalyst for us connecting. So I'm just grateful for you that you reached out outside of needing something, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like tragic to bring us together, that we could do this. And I'm just grateful for that, because we don't have many people like this in our lives that we could do that with. I think a lot of people have lost a lot of connection to themselves, others, and that doesn't help either, because the less you feel community, the less, okay, sure, I'll just throw my money at a government that'll take care of all of it. Like I and so there's so many things culturally involved with that. So I just want to thank you for, for our friendship and connecting and staying together, man.
Ditto, my dude. I love you, bro.
Yeah.
Jason, you're okay too.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
I appreciate
Well, who do we
We'll
have
get there.
thanks for
We'll get
coming? Terry, who's out there? Terry, Zach. I know Terry had to go, but Zach, William, everybody else who joined us, man, it's been so great. Next week is a huge, huge conversation. I cannot tell you what I really want to do, Jason. I hope we can do it.
It's been too long since I've cared. I keep the pain inside my head. But this reckless life of a bandit will surely take me to my grave. I've got my iron and my